Hello and welcome to Video Revealed. I'm Colin Smith and this is your place to go to get professional video production techniques. The subject of this reveal, using transitions in Adobe Premiere Pro. If you pay attention to most of your favorite movies, you'll find that most cuts between one clip and another are straight cuts. So you don't really need to add transitions. They should be there for a reason. It's easy to go overboard on these, but some dissolves and dips and you'll be fine. Let's go have a look. I've got a few clips in here and I'm going to put some transitions in here and show you how to use them. They fall in the edit point, so they don't fall on the clip themselves. They transition between one clip to another. In the effects panel, you'll notice that there are audio transitions and video transitions, and there's some very simple ones in here for audio, and you'll notice that constant power has a little blue line around it, and that's set as the default one. And down in the video transitions, we'll go through a few of them. There's zooms in here and wipes, and you want to use these sparingly. They don't really have a very interesting kind of look to them. Slides, you can use something like a push, and I'll drag that, and you notice as I'm dragging it, I'm snapping to the tail or the head or the middle of the two clips, and now I've got my transition. If you want to change the settings, you can click on it once and go to the effects controls. Double clicking on it will bring up a number, so you can change this. Instead of that value, I'll type 15, and whenever you're typing numbers in Premiere Pro, those numbers are hours, minutes, seconds, frames. You always start on the frames, so 15 means the transition will be 15 frames. Hit enter and you'll notice that it's a little bit smaller, and there's a few choices in here. You can look at the real sources instead of this AB if you want. So that's a simple push. Then we have the infamous page peel, and there it goes, and it's peeling the page. For the love of everything holy, please do not use the page peel. Okay, let's get rid of that and close the page peel up. There's some iris stuff going on in here, like the iris cross, and that will cross that over there. There are the wonderful dissolves. There's some 3D motion, and they're nowhere near as cool as you'd think. That doesn't look like 3D at all. So again, put that in the page peel category and leave that alone. Most of the times I will just stick right here in the dissolve category, usually cross dissolve or dips. Now there is something called a film dissolve, and I'll show you the difference in a second. You'll notice that cross dissolve doesn't have a little arrow in here, and that's because this has already been set as the default. So if I move my playhead close to an edit point and hit Control D on Windows, Command D on the Mac, I'm going to add a cross dissolve to those clips very easily. And now when I play across here, it's a cross dissolve. I can also right-click inside the effects and save this duration as a preset. One thing to note here is that Adobe is constantly updating transitions and the choices inside. Being able to save a cross dissolve with a duration value was added recently, but it removed a few of the other choices inside here. So always go back into the effects controls panel to see what the new updates are for Adobe Premiere Pro, because we'll have new updates as that goes on. Okay, now if I wanted to apply these transitions to all of these clips at once, your first thought is to select them all and then go to the sequence menu and apply default transition to selection. It's Shift D, and you'll see that it not only applies the transitions to the video but also to the audio. I'm going to undo that. One reason that that can be a problem is a transition to audio means at one point you're going to be listening to both of those clips, and that doesn't always work, especially if it's an interview. You hear the same voice occurring over top of it. So one way to get around that is to lock the audio channels, have that all selected, and then choose default transition. So now I've got my cross dissolve on each one of those playing back. Now I mentioned there was a film dissolve, and what I'm going to do is I've already got these as a film dissolve, the same timeline instead of the cross dissolve. And to show you what that looks like, I'm going to go to my source and I've dragged in my sequence. So we're looking at a sequence in the source monitor right now. And if I go to this last transition on this building, what you'll notice on the film dissolve, you'll notice the highlights are a little bit more intact inside this dissolve, whereas in the cross dissolve they actually start to fall out very quickly, and you can actually see more of the branches over top. Some people think that the film dissolve has a more quote-unquote organic feel to you. There's no right or wrong. Choose the one that you want, and you're off and ready to go. So you should use transitions judiciously. Be careful with them. They do have a use. Oh yeah, here's another one, and that's the dip to white and dip to black. Oi, I love these guys. And they're very useful. Let me just show you that. I'll get rid of these. And if I wanted to, let's say that I was doing an interview and I didn't have two cameras. So if you don't have B-roll or a second camera to cut to, and the person doesn't speak perfectly with every take, then you're cutting the video over and over again, and they have that jerky kind of quality. And that's very disconcerting for the viewer. It kind of takes them out of the moment. So one way to fix that is to drop in a dip to black or a dip to white. It smooths everything out, even more than a cross dissolve. A dip is much better. So let's go have a look at a dip to black. And remember, I can make this my default transition, which is now dip to black. I've got my audio locked over here. Select this, Shift D, boom. Now I've got dips to black going on inside here. So here we go to the next one and dip to black. And dip to white would be the exact same. So let me undo that, and instead I'll make white the default, Shift D. Now I've got dip to white inside there. So again, no hard and fast rules, but taste does matter when you're going and using this. Too much Tabasco sauce and you're going to burn someone's mouth. So use them with care, help tell your story, but they can really add a lot of wonderful textures to your video project. Well, I hope you found this informative. If you have, then please click on the subscribe link for Video Revealed. If you're not already an Adobe Creative Cloud user, then get on over to adobe.com and download your free 30-day trial. Till next time, I'm Colin Smith, and it's my job getting you looking your best.